a beautiful El Presidente. And we are live here with the happiest of hours presented by Bacardi here on Zoom. Welcome everyone, thanks for tuning in. We do this every single week and it's all about craft cocktails and hacks, how to make the best drinks at home for your friends, for your family, for your loved ones. And today we're here with Bobby. How are you, man?
How's it going, guys?
Good. Bobby Giraldi, a dear good friend of mine. I am your host, Gio Gutierrez. We got some 3 cocktails coming up. They're gonna be all incredible. We have all different spirits to play with, and each of these recipes will introduce one of the many cocktail hacks, which is a theme of today's lessons. How are we doing?
Man, we're doing well. You know, when you called me and told me about doing this cocktail hack, there was one that I was really excited to do, so we're gonna do that one first. But yeah, man, no, this should be a fun class and a fun way to elevate your bartending at home for anyone that's watching.
Absolutely, and one of the reasons I love Bobby and I admire him so much, I've seen him work at everything from like dive bars in South Beach for big hotel groups. So his gamut and range of knowledge is really a vast one. And so we're in for a treat, guys. I'm so stoked. And so let's talk real quick about the first cocktail. What's the name of it?
Okay, so the first cocktail is called Not Dick's Bramble.
Not Dick's Bramble. The recipe's up right there. Now this seems like a long recipe, but it really isn't. The thing here is we're gonna make our own house-made creme de mure, which is pretty much blackberry.
Yeah, it's basically just a fancy term for blackberry liqueur.
Right. So you could buy it already. You go to a liquor store, spend the money on it. You might not use the whole bottle, which is kind of like the hack here is you could make as much as you want, as well as kind of like control how sweet it is. Right. And you're making it yourself. Like, how cool is that you're making a house-made product?
Yeah, and what's cool about it too is that you know, for your base spirit that you use, it's usually either vodka or gin. For this cocktail specifically, since I'm using Bombay Sapphire, I went ahead and also had my base spirit for the creme de mure Bombay Sapphire as well, which is going to lend itself and playing beautifully in the cocktail. However, you can feel free to use any other gin, sometimes a little bit of Genever as well, works well. Obviously, it's going to play with it's going to add a little more maltiness, but however, it's really cool to use that and play with different gin varietals.
So let's talk real quick. So what you're kind of saying in essence is a lot of times when we make these liqueurs at home, we want to add a little bit of alcohol to sustain it, to give it some shelf life, some stability.
Right, or quite a bit actually. You want to add quite a bit of alcohol, and then obviously it's going to raise your ABV and whatnot. Also, you want to make sure you have a decent amount of alcohol in there, because then it'll increase its shelf life for a longer time as well.
That's beautiful. So the recipe's there, how to make house-made creme de mure. So it's real easy. We're looking at what? A couple of blackberries, right?
It's really just, I mean, you weigh out the amount. That recipe there is for that set amount. However, if you want to make less, obviously less blackberries. But you just basically want to start with some good red wine. In this case, I used a Meritage from Trader Joe's, I believe. It was around $14. But obviously, if you spend a little bit more, you're going to get that better quality, right? So basically, just that. And I muddled the blackberries into the wine mix. Kind of just let that sit in the refrigerator for a little while. And yeah, I mean, not much more than that. After the couple days, strained it out, added the gin, and then it's ready to use. It's ready to use right after that.
That's lovely. And so kind of like macerates there in the fridge.
Right. And the shelf life for this is going to be 365 days.
That's awesome. If you guys could smell this at home, we're waiting on Zoom's beta smell-o-vision, but this is incredible. Wow, homemade creme de mure. So let's talk about the cocktail itself, the Bramble, right?
Yes.
So it's a classic cocktail.
Right, it's a classic cocktail. It's usually just gin, lemon juice, simple syrup, creme de mure.
Simple.
Go.
And the name,
and lemon,
why the name?
The Bramble?
Yeah.
Okay, so I called it the Not Dick's Bramble. It's because it was invented by this guy, Dick. I'm slipping on his last name right now. But yeah, so it's an ode slash not an ode to his cocktail, but I feel like he would appreciate this nonetheless.
I love it, the twist on it. So let's start making the drink. I'm thirsty.
So let's do it. Yeah, man, me too. Vamos. All right, so obviously, let's go ahead and start with our base spirit. It's gonna be Bombay Sapphire in this case. So I'm making 2 cocktails. Normally, we would, just making 1, but in this case, I'm making 2, so I'm gonna go ahead and pour 3 ounces. All right.
And yes, guys, everyone tuning in at home,
Voila.
Feel free to ask questions in the chat. We're going to reply to every single one. We love this to be interactive. Any questions you have as we're making it, or even after each drink, we can take a couple minutes and answer any of your questions. The recipe's already posted there as well. So, all right, Bobby, so we got our beautiful Bombay Sapphire gin in our vessel. And again, if you don't have one of these fancy jiggers at home, you can use a mason jar. I've seen people do drinks in Tupperware, whatever you want. Next is fresh lemon juice.
Yes, fresh lemon juice. Voila, so I did strain this out before, made sure we had no pulp in there, because obviously you don't want too much of that blocking your cocktail, and it hinders the overall texture, right? So you want to maybe go ahead and strain that out first, or obviously strain it out at the end of the cocktail.
And definitely fresh, always fresh citrus.
Always fresh, yeah, I did this 5 minutes ago.
Yep.
So. Simple syrup, right? Any simple syrup works. I usually make my own. However, the lovely facility here has simple syrup. So let's go ahead and we're gonna do, it's usually 1 ounce for this, but we're gonna go ahead and do 2. Voila, and now we have this lovely creme de mure here that I made at home. It was took a couple days, but yeah.
There's a secret ingredient right there.
Voila.
Gonna make everything shine. I cannot wait.
There we go.
You get that beautiful color too, that gorgeous like raspberry, blueberry,
Absolutely.
like dark red, velvety.
Absolutely. So now I'm just gonna go ahead, add my ice to this guy here.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, for people at home too, you could also make a simple syrup at home, right?
Right, of course. So this is a 1-to-1 ratio of sugar to water. Pretty much, yeah. You just combine that in a pot, bring it to boil real quick, and then let it simmer for another couple minutes, and yeah, you're good to go.
Beautiful.
All right. So now, instead of pouring ice first, I'm gonna pour the actual cocktail in the glass, and I'm gonna pour some crushed ice. You wanna create that like nice little effect of the ranging colors, right?
I love that Pilsner glass we're using. Kind of like a nice, beautiful vessel. Look at that color.
Yeah, it's gonna be really pretty. We're just gonna go ahead and pack some crushed ice in there.
Now at home, if you don't have crushed ice, you could really just get your regular ice.
Yeah,
get a Ziploc bag or a towel and just hammer it to death.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, just get a mallet or anything, a hammer, and just go ahead and hammer away, right?
I use a muddler, and trust me, it is free therapy.
So in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little soda water, just a little club soda rather, just to give it that light effervescence at the end. And then what's cool about this cocktail is that it definitely doesn't take mint in the original recipe. However, what I wanted to show you guys at home is how cool and how pretty you can make a cocktail look by just simply throwing a beautiful bouquet of mint on there. You always want to grab a lot. Sometimes,
It's okay.
Well, hey, first time for everything, right?
Yeah. That's why we make 2 drinks.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so like this, here you go.
So you want that big bouquet because you want to smell that mint as you put the drink up to your nose.
And there we are. So then you're just gonna tuck that mint right in there. Now you got your blackberry.
I love that.
And then you're all set.
Look how beautiful that is.
Voila.
That is your garnish game.
Minus the mess.
But that's such a beautiful drink.
There you go, guys. Go ahead, Gio. Give it a.
Oh, the honor's mine.
Give it a sipperoo.
And I love that you're playing again with like those same flavors that I'm tasting, I'm looking at automatically, from the blackberry, the lemon. We poured fresh lemon juice in there. Get that beautiful color. This is tropical. This is a brunchy cocktail.
For sure.
Before dinner, can I open up right?
For sure, for sure.
Incredible. Incredible. And the gin stands out. You get all those beautiful flavors there from the Bombay, all those lovely botanicals that make it really unique.
100%. 100%. Yeah, what's beautiful about this cocktail too is that, you know, it's a long cocktail and not too strong. You could definitely sip on this for a little while and, you know, crush it throughout. It's pretty. The pint, the Pilsner glass is really pretty too. Those are not too expensive either. I found those at Ross for like $12. So you could buy a few of those, have them at your house. They're really nice for guests. Also to serve your beers in for your guests too. I mean, it's great, great cocktail, great glassware for that as well.
I love it. Bobby, man, you're so talented. This always makes me happy. Whenever you make me drinks, I'm like so ecstatic because it really is next level. I love how pretty it looks. I don't want to drink it almost. I want to like let it sit there. And I see now what you're mentioning about that gorgeous color, that gradient. It's like this gradient of like the dark purplish going to like reddish to like light pinkish to white.
Right, exactly. And that's you can really make that visible using these Pilsner glasses, because if you're just using a rocks glass, you're not going to get that amount of, to the eye, you're not going to see that amount of discoloration. So it's like, it's cool when it does that and you have a long, beautiful glassware to make that happen.
I love it. That's our twist on a classic Bramble with Bombay Sapphire. I love it. So
all right. What's
going to be our next drink?
So our next cocktail, without dropping it, of course, it's going to be, it's a margarita variation, obviously, but we're going to add a little cucumber here, and we're going to do some cool things that are going to be able to up that experience.
Up our cocktail games at home.
Up the cocktail game at home.
So the recipe, we're going to put up real quick because it has, I love the name of this. It is Tommy Pepino.
Nice. Yeah, it's Tommy Pepino. Pepino in
Spanish.
In Spanish is cucumber, obviously. And it's a Tommy's margarita has no orange liqueur in it. So that's why I called it Tommy Pepino. It's a Tommy's margarita with a little bit of cucumber.
Love it.
Right?
Nice and simple. Tommy's margarita, very classic margarita. Yeah. Again, like what Bobby just said, there's usually no orange liqueur in there. It's just agave, lime, and really good tequila. So we're going to do our twist using Patron.
Voila.
Voila.
All right. And then so I do have the cucumber ice that's in the freezer right now. So we'll be able to grab that. And you always want to make sure that you keep it in the freezer for as long as possible, right until you're about to bring it out, because obviously you don't want it to melt, and it starts, you want it to have that nice color. That nice shape as well too. That's
we'll get
so
into that
important.
at the end, because at the end we're going to talk about a really cool technique of making flavored ice.
Right. Yes, exactly. Flavored ice is something that's so much fun, and obviously for your guests at home, even at cocktail bars, obviously, like, everyone's, it's a cool wow factor, right? So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and start with our Patron,
which is Patron Silver in this case, which is 100% beautiful agave tequila.
Right, and so each one is gonna have about 1.5 to 2 ounces. So I'm gonna go ahead and put about that. All right, so obviously we started with our base spirit. I'm gonna move on to our already freshly squeezed lime juice, of course. It's about 3/4 ounce in each, so I'm gonna go ahead and put 1.5. And then this agave syrup here is a 2-to-1 ratio of syrup that I got. I just added a little water to it.
Right, so we say like 2-to-1 is 2 parts agave to 1 part of water.
Right, yes, exactly.
And that right there so far is the classic Tommy's.
That is the classic Tommy's margarita. So that's pretty much, that's it for this cocktail right now. The rest will, all the hacks are gonna start coming in now because that's where the cucumber ice comes in. That's where, and then this is where the garnishes come in as well.
Beautiful.
So let's go ahead and shake her up. I'm gonna go ahead and have Gio go ahead and shake this one up while I get the ice ready for us. All right.
I can't wait for you guys at home to see that ice. Ice,
Right.
baby.
Perfect. So I'm gonna show you guys also what I did here with this packaging.
What?
You wanna make sure you pack it in a Ziploc as well. It's just gonna help your ice stay as clear as, or with the actual ingredients that you want in your ice, than just random things from your freezer flying in.
Yeah, it's like the smells and flavors from stuff you have in your freezer.
Of course.
So, Bobby had this wrapped in Ziploc bag.
Right. So I wanted to show you guys two different ices, two different ways of cucumber ice that I did. So if you'll notice the difference right here, the one on my right hand here,
the darker one,
is the darker one. So this was just pureed. I basically just grabbed cucumber, cut off the ends, and threw them in my Vitamix and pureed it, and that's the color that I got. So that's like a beautiful dark greenish color. Obviously the flavor of the cucumber is gonna come in a lot more. If you don't want that flavor, too much of that cucumber flavor, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna, if you have a juicer at home, you'll juice your cucumber, and then that fresh pressed juice, you'll go ahead and pour into your trays, right?
Right, so you're getting that cucumber juice, kind of a little bit less pronounced flavor, right?
Right.
By juicing it versus blending the whole cucumber together.
Exactly. So I'm gonna do it with both. I'm gonna do one with the pureed form, and then one with the just juiced form, right?
I love that. I want everyone at home to see how cool this looks already.
Oh yeah.
And this is gonna add that beautiful flavor as well. It's not just cool, but it's actually the ingredient.
Right. Voila. So, and actually,
we're gonna rim it.
Yeah, we gotta rim it. So one thing, we'll go ahead and
I want to show people at home.
Yeah, we're gonna do this the right way. We're gonna show people how to properly rim your glassware, right? So this looks like a little Pac-Man, right?
Pac-Man. So you get your lime, you cut a little wedge off.
Yeah, I like to do just a half rim, just because what if you got a guest at home that doesn't really care for that, the tahine or the salt rim, whatever you're gonna do. So you just wanna pour it like that over the glass. Notice how I'm not sticking the glass into any sort of weird contraption. I just simply did that. And what that creates is now you don't have tahine in the inner portion of your glass, because that's going to end up in your cocktail, changing the flavor and obviously changing the texture as well. So we're going to do the same with this one.
And again, classic margarita at home, guys. You could do salt, but so we're doing his tahine, which is kind of like a spicy umami, interesting Mexican product that you can buy on Amazon or anywhere else.
You can buy it on Amazon, or I have a recipe on there as well that shows you how to make it at home, which is really cool, right?
There's a cocktail hack right there on how to make your own tahine at home. That's great.
All right, guys. Bueno.
So let's pour them over here. If you don't mind.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
I want everyone to see that beautiful
Let's go ahead and do that.
So there's our traditional Tommy's margarita with our lovely cucumber ice. Done 2 ways. Beautiful.
All right. Now, I'm gonna show you guys a couple different ways that you can garnish this. So with a peeled cucumber, I'm just gonna go ahead and get another peel just like that. You can kind of like, you roll it up one halfway, and then you do another one the other halfway.
It's kind of like a figure eight.
Yeah, right, exactly. And voila. And that's like a cute little couple.
Yeah, let's hold it for the camera.
Figure eight thing. Scoop right there, lindito. That can just sit right there on top of this glass. Now you can also,
I love that.
Can also get a nice. Let me get a thicker peel here. Then another cool way is kind of just like rim the inner portion of the glass here. Kind of just looping it around. Voila. So there's obviously a couple little things. You could add more little ribbons there. You know, just plenty ways that you could play with cucumber. Obviously, you can make fatter ones. You can add more figure eights to this. So many different ways to play with this, right?
I love this. What a cool hack. This is like one of those like little. It's like one of those little details, right? You can do this before your party, before people come in. So it's like you don't waste time, right? You're at home with your friends and your family, and you want to engage with them still. But you can prep these before, keep them in the fridge, ready to rock and roll.
Right.
Same with the cube.
Exactly.
Cheers, guys.
Salute.
Guys, this is really Bobby and I.
Yeah, I know.
And you guys at home, I hope you're drinking with us. Hope you're trying these cocktails.
And now we have 2 cocktails to drink.
Yeah. I love the nose on this. Just that cucumber just punches in your face. It's. Oh man. Oh man. So
That's
simple,
fun.
right?
Yeah.
3 ingredients,
Easy.
cube.
Easy.
And it's smart what you're doing, right? Of only rimming half the glass, because maybe somebody doesn't want this flavor. Maybe somebody doesn't want more salt. So it's just a really easy way of pleasing everybody, right?
Right.
And again, I love your little description. Get your little lime, little Pac-Man shape. You rim the outside, you sprinkle on top. And there you have it, guys. Very simple. Tommy Pepino twist on Tommy's Margarita.
Tommy Pepino.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is perfection.
All right, I'm gonna rinse off some of these tools here so we can make our last cocktail, which I'll let you start, Gio, if you want to say anything about some sours or.
So what's the last drink?
So all right, so we got we're doing a Dewar's sour here. However, I'm gonna add a little coffee component. Ooh. And then instead of using an egg white or like an egg white substitute, like a like aquafaba, which is chickpea, just like chickpea juice, I'm gonna use mascarpone cheese.
Hence your twist on a sour.
Right.
So people at home, your sour are your classic drinks. You traditionally use egg white. So think of your pisco sour, your like a New York, right? Like a New York sour.
A New York sour.
So
voila.
those are all drinks. There's a classification of cocktails with egg whites. Modern times now, people do aquafaba, which is like chickpea water, which is great for vegetarians or lactose intolerant people that don't like egg whites. So what Bobby's thinking with his brain's here going, which again, genius here, is cheese. Like cheese, and not any cheese, mascarpone cheese. Yeah.
Mascarpone cheese has like this beautiful like umami, that word is thrown around sometimes so often, but it really is, and especially when it mixes with coffee, No,
because it has that body, right? Yeah. It has that thick body, so I'm already like seeing.
Yeah, it's like you almost get like a bite in the cocktail, if you will, which is really cool because it adds just another texturous component to it. So let's go, right?
Let's go. Let's do this.
Let's do this. Okay, beautiful. So first, I'm gonna start with my base spirit here, Dewar's 12. Voila.
Let's put the recipe up for a quick second while we're pouring.
Yes, please.
Dewar's Coffee Sour. And there we have it.
Dewey's.
Dewey's.
Yeah, Dewey. Like,
Hey,
you know?
Dewey.
Yeah, Dewey.
Hey.
Yeah, I had an old friend named Dewey.
Dewey?
So,
Was he a good guy?
Yeah, he was a great guy. He was a really funny guy, and he was always drinking coffee. So it's kind of like a little quick ode to him.
Nice.
You know?
I hope he's watching.
Yeah, I hope so. All the way from San Diego. You know? All right, guys. So recipe calls for 2 ounces of each. So we're gonna go ahead and throw 4 ounces in there. Voila. All right, usually I would go ahead and start adding like other liquids, but in this case, since the mascarpone cheese is so thick, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my bar spoons now. So the recipe calls for calls for 1 bar spoon. That's gonna be like your bar spoon for this recipe, right here.
About a good half of a tablespoon.
So I'm gonna put that in there now. And I'm gonna grab another spoonful. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a quick stir to start diluting that. I mean, exactly. To start bringing down that cheese, kind of mixing it in. So you're gonna see right there.
Tilt it more, let's see. There you go.
What?
Yeah.
There you go.
It's getting nice and milky.
Yeah, that milky look to it.
And if you don't have a bar spoon at home, it looks like about a little shy of a tablespoon.
Right, correct. Voila, look at that.
Beautiful.
All right, so now Demerara. Demerara syrup is basically just a fancy word for brown sugar syrup. In this case, I did a 2-to-1 ratio. Again, that's sugar to water. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that here. I think we're doing half an ounce for each. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour that full ounce.
Yep.
Voila. And then, so another cool hack that I did, this is a coffee oil right here. So I got rapeseed oil, and I mixed it with, and I let it macerate with a bit of ground espresso and let that sit for like 5 days or so. And it gets this oh, smell it, like.
It's nutty coffee.
Nutty coffee. And so I'm gonna add just a little bit to this. I'm gonna add about 1.5 teaspoons to each cocktail. So that means I'm gonna be adding 3 to this one here, right?
So 1.5 teaspoons. So you basically got grapeseed oil. You put ground coffee.
Rapeseed.
Got it.
Yeah. And then, look at that, Gio.
That's cool.
Look how oil that is.
It's nice.
So,
it's oily.
It's exactly. So it is going to look like it's separating in your cocktail. I mean, in your glass, because of obviously it isn't oil. It's a fat, so it easily separates, right? So I'm gonna grab a couple pinches of salt, 1 for each cocktail, and then now, to really open this baby up, I'm gonna pour some absinthe in here.
Oof.
So I'm gonna add 4 drops each per cocktail. So I'm gonna do 8 for us.
So my brain is already going to like coffee, dark brown sugar. We got beautiful doers in there. We got cheese and a little bit of like anise flavor from the absinthe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And a little salt there.
And then of course we can't forget the lemon juice. I'm pouring 1.5 ounces here because we have 2 cocktails that we're doing. All right. And now we're gonna go ahead and shake her up. You wanna go ahead and shake that up really well. Obviously you got the cheese in there, so you wanna make up for that.
Right. Like a traditional sour, anything you want to really incorporate those flavors together, make sure they're nice.
That's correct.
And intertwined.
Right. So, grab a couple glasses. I like how it looks with a rock or a sphere. But sometimes with the mascarpone cheese, you need a little bit more ice to kind of dilute it and break it down. So I'm gonna do it a couple different ways. I'm gonna go ahead and put it just with like some regular cubes, and then I'm gonna do another one with crushed ice. Okay. And voila.
Look at that perfect pour. If I was at a bar right now, I'd be like, yeah, yeah, let's go. I love this. By the way, real quick, I want to remind people, because you really took us on a journey, really culinary, right? With a lot of like chefy ingredients, and it really worked out from like daytime to like, you know, for like kind of brunchy almost.
For sure.
Poolside to
100%.
a margarita, which is like any time in the middle of the day. So it's like after dinner, kind of like dessert cocktail,
100%, 100%. So I want to show you guys cool different ways you can do like a little, some garnishes with your ground coffee, right? So for example, like just go ahead and throw like a napkin right over half of it. And you can kind of just do it like that, right?
Very cool.
Now you got some ground coffee
on half the drink
in there, on half of it, right? Or you could also,
let's show people at home real quick. There you go. I'm gonna tilt it a little bit. I don't want to ruin it, but you can see it's by basically putting the napkin is just falling on half the drink. So you have this half moon coffee. Really cool.
and then also like kind of the same concept. If you want to do just like kind of like a line right down the middle, you just go ahead and put a couple napkins right there. And you can kind of like just do the same thing.
And you'll get just a line down the middle.
And you get just that little line down the middle there.
Very cool.
And voila. And that's really, that takes no, I mean, that's so easy for you to do at home, and your guests are gonna be wowed, like, oh man, wow, it's super cool. Like, you know, and really you did nothing.
You made a drink.
Yeah.
Some credit, people. Cheers. Let's.
Salud.
So the nose on this is just, right, it's coffee. This just wakes you up.
Oh man. I'm telling you, I love that. I love the cheese with coffee. It's just something else.
Wow, very
That
cool.
mascarpone.
Very different. Very, very different. Yeah, this is definitely like, I would pair this with like dessert, like a tiramisu would be cool, right?
Honestly, it's so, I do a pretty cool like tiki cocktail with mascarpone and coffee. Really fun. So that's kind of where I had picked this up, and learned this hack because it's, like I said, it's really cool, and not everyone has. You might not have egg at your house. Obviously, chances of having mascarpone cheese are. Yeah. But hey, if you were making some, what are those Italian desserts called? Cannoli. So if you had some leftover cheese from some cannolis you didn't eat, voila, right?
I love it. So here are the cocktails. Dewey's Coffee Sour.
Dewey's Coffee Sour, baby.
Look how pretty these drinks look. I love the colors.
Obviously now they've been sitting out for a little bit and whatnot, but
still beautiful.
But yeah,
It's still beautiful.
And look at and what's cool too. I wanted to talk about this. See, look how dark green the this cocktail is here. Like, look how that dark green has now really played in. So what's cool about that is the cocktail has now not only changed color, but it's really transformed its taste entirely. So
yeah, just for comparison, look how lighter this one is, right?
Yeah,
that's a cucumber juice.
Right. This is the fresh pressed cucumber juice, and this is the pureed. So, you know, it's cool. Well, obviously, you play with however you like it, however you feel like your guests will enjoy it more. But yeah,
awesome, killed it, man.
Cool, guys. Well, thank you so much for bringing me and giving me the opportunity to show some things to our guests.
So, by the way, side note, he does coquito, which is, explain coquito for
So it's
for
a traditional Puerto Rican eggnog, right? It's one of my favorite go-tos during the holidays. After dinner, you know, if you're feeling a little nostalgic about the holidays, you might whip one up in July.
Every grandma makes it.
Yeah, every grandma makes it. I do my own, and that's obviously a little more crafty, a little more elevated, if you will. But you know, sometimes there's nothing better like Abuela's recipe. But
Yep.
you know, we'll see.
So there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bobby Giraldi, the man of the hour.
Ya tú sabes.
Thanks again for tuning in. If you love this event, we have another one coming up in a few hours. Tell your friends and family to tune in. And because we're doing this exact same cocktails in exactly 2 hours. But we have one more session coming up next week, which is Friendsgiving cocktails. The season is upon us. These are going to be drinks inspired by Thanksgiving flavors. Think nutmeg, cloves, allspice, pumpkin, apple butter. I'm making these things up, but not really. But please tune in next week because we'll have another guest making these amazing Friendsgiving cocktails. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, guys, cheers. Happiest hour here.
Salud.
A beautiful El Presidente.